Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Dr. Dildar Hashmi and in this video we will discuss about the normal pelvis, types of pelvis and contracted pelvis in detail. Okay, so what we are going to discuss in this video, that is about the normal pelvis. Then we will discuss about the types of pelvis, and then we will discuss about contracted pelvis and the management of the contracted pelvis. Okay, so without any delay, let's start with the topic. So in case of normal pelvis, first we will discuss about normal pelvis. In case of normal female pelvis, what we need to remember is the some diameter that will help us to understand the contracted pelvis. Okay, so what are the diameter that we need to remember? That is anterior posterior diameter, the second one is transverse diameter, and third is the oblique diameter, right? So whether you remember all the diameter or not, but it will help you to understand the topic, that is contracted pelvis. Okay, so anterior posterior diameter. What is anterior posterior diameter? This one is the anterior posterior diameter, right? This one is the, wait, I will show you in different color. This one is the anterior posterior diameter, right? Anterior posterior diameter. Okay, so the first thing, that is anterior posterior diameter. What is anterior posterior diameter? This is the length or the diameter that starts from the lower border of what it is, pubic symphysis, right? This one is pubic symphysis, that starts from lower border of pubic symphysis up to the tip of the coccyx. Tip of coccyx, right? From the lower border of the pubic symphysis to the tip of the coccyx, right? So this is the AP diameter, and the next is the transverse diameter. What it is? Transverse diameter. Transverse diameter. So I will show you the transverse diameter. This one is the transverse diameter. Okay, transverse diameter, this is the distance between two ischial tuberosity. What it is? Distance between two ischial tuberosity. Okay, two ischial tuberosity. Right, and this one is the oblique diameter. Okay, this one is the oblique diameter. So what we need to remember is the AP diameter, transverse diameter, and oblique diameter, right? So we will remember all these three diameter in three topics. One for the inlet, right? Second one is for the cavity, and third one is for the outlet. What is inlet and outlet here? So if we look the pelvis from above, this one is the pelvis, and you are looking, suppose your eye is here and you are looking from here, right? So this one, the first one that you see, this one is the inlet. This one is the inlet, right? And if you look the pelvis from the below, right? If you look the pelvis from below, right? Then what you can see that this portion, this one is the outlet, right? This one is the outlet, and in between the inlet and outlet, that you can see, that is the cavity of the pelvis. Okay, cavity of pelvis. So this one is very helpful for understanding the contracted pelvis. So let's remember the diameter, that is inlet diameter, cavity diameter and outlet diameter in view of AP, transverse and oblique. Okay, so in case of inlet, the AP diameter is 11, transverse diameter that is 13 and oblique diameter is 12. Inlet, for inlet, if you see the AP diameter, this one is 11 centimeter. Okay, and this one is the transverse diameter, that is 13 centimeter, and this one is the oblique diameter, that is 12 centimeter. Okay, this one is for the normal gynecoid pelvis. Okay, and in respect of the outlet, that is 13 centimeter and 11 centimeter. Okay, and this one would be 12 centimeter, that is given in some book. Okay, and if you see the cavity, that means in between the AP diameter is 12 centimeter, it is also 12 centimeter, it is also 12 centimeter, the oblique diameter. Okay, that means all the diameters in case of cavity is same. Now see, now let's discuss the types of pelvis. Okay, types of pelvis. Types of pelvis. The pelvis that I have shown here is the normal gynecoid pelvis. Okay, so the first type is the gynecoid pelvis. Gynecoid pelvis. Gynecoid pelvis that I have shown you. Okay, this one is the normal gynecoid pelvis. This one is the most common type of pelvis. Most common type of pelvis. And what other points that you can remember from here? This one is the best type of pelvis for vaginal delivery. Best for vaginal delivery. Right? What you can see in the normal gynecoid pelvis, that transverse diameter, that the transverse diameter is more than the AP diameter. The transverse diameter for the inlet is more than the AP diameter, right? You can write all the points from there only. AP diameter for inlet is less than, or the transverse diameter is more than the AP diameter. Okay, this one is for the gynecoid pelvis. This is the most common type of pelvis and best suited for the vaginal delivery, right? The next type of pelvis, that is android pelvis. Android pelvis, right? If you make the diagram, android pelvis will look This one is the Anthropoid pelvis. In case of Anthropoid pelvis, transverse diameter is more than AP diameter. Okay, transverse diameter is more than AP diameter. In case of Anthropoid pelvis, deep transverse arrest is common. Deep transverse arrest, right? Deep transverse arrest is common. The next type of pelvis is Anthropoid pelvis. Anthropoid pelvis. In case of Anthropoid pelvis, if we make the diagram for Anthropoid pelvis, this one is the AP diameter, right? And this one is the transverse diameter. So in case of Anthropoid pelvis, AP diameter is more than transverse diameter. Okay. The next and last type of pelvis, that is Platyploid. Platyploid type of pelvis, right? So in case of Platyploid type of pelvis, right, it would be opposite of the Anthropoid. In case of Anthropoid, the transverse diameter is less, but in case of Platyploid, the transverse diameter would be more. Transverse diameter would be more than AP diameter. Okay, this one is the Platyploid type of pelvis. Let's recall these points once. That will help us to understand contracted pelvis easily, right? So in case of normal pelvis, what we need to remember is the three diameter, that is AP diameter, transverse diameter and oblique diameter, right? AP diameter, this one is the AP diameter, right? This one is the transverse diameter and this one is the oblique diameter. Okay, right? So I have mentioned all the diameter for inlet, cavity and outlet. What is inlet? We look the pelvis from above, this one would be the inlet, and if we look from the below, that would be the outlet, and in between we are having the cavity, right? So remember all the diameters here. And now the next topic or next thing that we are going to discuss is contracted pelvis, right? Contracted pelvis. अरे हाँ, so contracted pelvis, remember all the diameter, right? So these are the normal diameter, but if the normal diameter would be decreased by 0.5 centimeter, any of the diameter, either an AP diameter or the transverse diameter or the oblique diameter, if any one of them would be decreased or shortened by 0.5 centimeter, then it would be the case of contracted pelvis. So let's write here first. If any of the major diameter that I have mentioned in the last slide, that means here, like AP, transverse or oblique diameter, if any of the major diameter that is shortened by or decreased by 0.5 centimeter or more, 5 सेंटीमीटर या इससे ज़्यादा से भी अगर कम हो गया कोई भी एक डायमीटर, तो दैट वुड बी द केस ऑफ contracted pelvis, right? So what are the levels of contraction? There are 3 levels of contractions of the pelvis, right? The pelvis can be contracted or its diameter can be shortened from 3 points. The first diameter that can be decreased is the inlet diameter, second one is the cavity, and third one would be the outlet. Okay, so the first contraction that can be present is the inlet. मतलब इनलेट की जो डायमीटर है ये 5 सेंटीमीटर या उससे भी ज़्यादा से कम हो सकती है. दूसरा क्या हो सकता है आपका, कैविटी की डायमीटर कम हो सकती है, तो देयर वुड बी कैविटी कॉन्ट्रैक्शन. अरे हाँ. द थर्ड दैट कैन बी outlet contraction. Okay, outlet contraction. So in case of inlet contraction, inlet contraction, the diameter, the AP diameter would be, or any of the major diameter, either AP diameter, transverse diameter or oblique diameter would be shortened by more than or equal to 0.5 सेंटीमीटर. ओके, इससे भी ज़्यादा अगर कम हो जाता है तो that would be the case of inlet contraction. This can be mild, moderate and severe. Inlet contraction can be mild, moderate and severe, right? For to remember this mild, moderate and severe, we have one obstructive conjugate. What it is? Obstructive conjugate. Obstructive conjugate, right? अगर आपका ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव कंजुगेट 10 सेंटीमीटर से कम होगा तो आप समझ जाइएगा कि ये इनलेट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन है. अगर माइल्ड की बात करें तो ये ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव कंजुगेट जो है आपका 10 सेंटीमीटर से कम होगा तो माइल्ड हो जाएगा. अगर मॉडरेट की बात करें तो ऑब्स्ट्रक्टिव कंजुगेट आपका 7.5 से 9.5 सेंटीमीटर तक. अगर ये आपका 7.5 से भी कम हो गया तो दैट इज द सीवियर इनलेट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन, राइट. कैविटी कॉन्ट्रैक्शन और आउटलेट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन में भी आप याद रख सकते हैं कि जो डायमीटर है आपका कैविटी का और आउटलेट का ये 0.5 सेंटीमीटर, चाहे एपी, ट्रांसवर्स और ऑब्लिक डायमीटर ये 0.5 सेंटीमीटर से ज़्यादा या इसके बराबर कम हो जाएगा या डिक्रीज हो जाएगा. ओके, right. What is the next thing that we are going to study? We are not going to study this in detail only, not in detail. Only the point that we need to remember is the management for the contracted pelvis. Management of contracted pelvis. Contracted pelvis. सिंपल सी बात है, अगर पेल्विस की डायमीटर कम हो जाएगी मीन्स नॉर्मल डिलीवरी में क्या आएगी, प्रॉब्लम आएगी. डीप ट्रांसवर्स अरेस्ट हो सकता है ना. लेबर टाइम इंक्रीज हो सकता है, प्रोग्रेस नहीं होगा लेबर का. सो नॉर्मल डिलीवरी इज नॉट पॉसिबल इन सच केसेस. सो व्हाट वी आर गोइंग टू डू फॉर द मैनेजमेंट ऑफ कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड पेल्विस, दैट is LSCS, lower section cesarean section, that we are going to do, right. फॉर कॉन्ट्रैक्टेड पेल्विस, अगर आपका माइल्ड केस है, माइल्ड इनलेट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन है, तो हम लोग ट्रायल ऑफ लेबर की तरफ जा सकते हैं। ट्रायल ऑफ लेबर कैन बी डन फॉर द केस ऑफ माइल्ड इनलेट कॉन्ट्रैक्शन। For mild inlet contraction we can do trial of labor. Okay, but for the trial of labor we are supposed to keep the OT ready, so if there would be any problem then we can go again for LSCS, right? So this is all about normal pelvis, that we have discussed the diameter, AP, transverse and oblique diameter here, right? Types of pelvis: gynecoid, android pelvis, anthropoid and platyploid pelvis. And the next and the last topic that I have discussed here, the contracted pelvis, that means the diameter would be shortened by 0.5 centimeter. Three types of contraction, that is inlet cavity contraction and outlet contraction. In case of inlet we have mild, moderate and severe. So to remember this, we have obstructive conjugate that is less than 10 centimeter, right? So in case of mild contraction we can go for the trial of labor, but if it fails we can go for LSCS, and the overall management of contracted pelvis is lower section, cesarean section. Okay, LSCS. So this is all about this topic. Thank you very much for watching. Have a great time. Bye bye.